Beyond the Gates spoilers full. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today is a beautiful, breezy Wednesday, and I hope you all have your largest mugs of coffee ready because we have an absolute mountain of Beyond the Gates drama to unpack today. Grab a snack, settle in, and let's just get straight into the madness that is happening in Fairmont Crest right now. So, let's talk about Leslie and Eva. I mean, honestly, we all knew this was coming, right? You guys, if you have been watching this show for as long as I have, you know that the mother-daughter dynamic between these two has always been a ticking time bomb just waiting for the exact wrong moment to completely explode. And boy, did it ever explode this week. We have been seeing the tension building up for weeks now, simmering just under the surface in every single scene they share. Eva has been going through absolute hell lately. She just had that major organ transplant, which is traumatic enough on its own. The physical toll, the emotional toll, the constant fear of rejection, it is a nightmare. But then you add in the fact that her romantic relationship with Isaiah Hawthorne is completely falling apart at the seams. She is stressed, she is emotionally drained, and she is deeply traumatized. When you are in that kind of incredibly dark headspace, you tend to lash out at the people closest to you. And unfortunately for Leslie, she was standing right in the direct line of fire. But honestly, can we really blame Eva for snapping? I mean, let's be real for a second. The girl is going through the hardest, most agonizing time of her entire life, and she is looking around at her support system, and what does she see? She sees her mother, Leslie, acting completely ridiculous. The argument they had wasn't just a regular family squabble over dirty dishes or missed phone calls. It was one of those deep, cutting, vicious fights where years of unsaid resentments and buried anger just come pouring out all at once. Eva didn't just yell at her mom. She went straight for the jugular. She looked Leslie right in the eye and accused her of deliberately sabotaging her own love life. Eva straight up told Leslie that the reason she keeps rejecting all these other romantic options, all these perfectly good, stable men who might actually want to date her and build a life with her, is because she is still hopelessly, pathetically hung up on Ted Richardson. Yes, you heard me right. Ted Richardson, the man, the myth, the legend of the Richardson family, or, as Leslie apparently likes to call him in her own private fantasy world, her teddy bear. I literally cringed when I read that. I physically recoiled from my screen. I mean, come on. Teddy bear? Really, Leslie? We are adults here. We are grown women. But it is so incredibly fitting for her character, isn't it? She has this idealized, almost childish view of Ted. Ted is always the voice of reason for the Richardson family. We see him giving solid, grounded advice to Andre about his stalker. We see him being the calm in the storm. And Leslie has just completely romanticized that stability. She has put him on this massive, unreachable pedestal. And Eva called her out on it completely. Eva was like, "You are throwing away real chances at happiness, real chances at having a partner, because you are pining for a man who is just a fantasy at this point." And of course, Leslie got incredibly upset. You guys know exactly how Leslie gets when she is backed into a corner. She gets defensive, she gets loud, she tries to deflect, she plays the victim. She was probably standing there in the living room, waving her arms around, acting like Eva was absolutely crazy for even suggesting such a thing. How dare her daughter speak to her that way? But here's the thing. Here is the absolute, undeniable truth that Leslie does not want to admit to herself or anyone else. Eva is right. Eva is 100% unequivocally right. Leslie has been holding on to this ridiculous torch for Ted for so long that she doesn't even know how to function in a normal romantic relationship anymore. I was thinking about this last night when I was trying to fall asleep, and my brain just wouldn't shut off because I was so annoyed with Leslie. Why does she do this? Why does she cling to this teddy bear fantasy like it's a life raft? I think it's because it is safe. Pining after Ted is safe? It means she doesn't actually have to put herself out there. She doesn't have to risk real heartbreak, real rejection, or real vulnerability with a new man, because she can just tell herself, "Oh, I can't date him. My heart belongs to Ted." It is a classic avoidance tactic. It is self-sabotage at its finest. And the fact that her own daughter, who is currently recovering from a transplant and dealing with her own messy, failing love life with Isaiah, had to be the one to point it out, is just wild to me. It really shows how flipped their dynamic has become. Eva is acting like the exhausted adult, trying to talk sense into someone, and Leslie is acting like a lovesick, stubborn teenager who refuses to listen to reason. But wait, it gets so much crazier. Just when you thought the argument was going to end with Leslie storming out of the room in a huff and slamming a door, the writers decided to drop an absolute nuclear bomb on us. I am still trying to process this. I really am. Because right in the middle of this massive fight, right when Leslie is backed into a corner and realizes she can't deflect anymore, she breaks. She just completely breaks down. The spoilers say that Leslie can't lie anymore. She is forced to confess the truth. And what is that truth? The true identity of Eva's biological father. I literally screamed at my screen. I am not even exaggerating. I spilled my coffee all over my desk. We have been watching Eva's journey for so long, and the idea that her entire parentage, her entire biological identity, has been a lie this whole time, that is classic soap opera gold right there. It is the trope of all tropes. But it is also so utterly devastating when you think about the real-world implications for the character. Think about Eva. She just went through a major medical crisis. An organ transplant. Do you know how incredibly important family medical history is when you are dealing with transplants and immune systems and genetic markers? And Leslie has been sitting on this massive secret the entire time? What kind of mother does that? What kind of mother watches her daughter fight for her life in a hospital bed and doesn't disclose who her true biological father is? I am honestly furious with Leslie right now. I know she has her reasons. They always have their reasons on this show, but this is just beyond the pale. It is unforgivable. And the question on everyone's mind, the question that is burning up the fan forums and social media right now, is who is the father? Who is it? The spoilers don't explicitly name him yet, but my mind is going a million miles an hour. Could it be Ted? Oh my god, what if it is Ted Richardson? That would explain so much. It would explain why she is so obsessed with him. It would explain the embarrassing teddy bear nickname. It would explain why she can't let him go after all these years. If Ted is Eva's father, that means Eva is a Richardson. That connects her to Andre, to Kat, to Martin, to the whole legacy family of Fairmont Crest. That would shift the entire power dynamic of the show. Okay, maybe I am getting ahead of myself. Maybe I need to calm down. Maybe it isn't Ted. Maybe I am just connecting dots that aren't there because the argument started about Ted. What if it is someone worse? What if it is Joey Armstrong? No, Joey is too busy fighting with his sister Heather and Vernon Dupree. What if it is Bill Hamilton? No, that timeline doesn't make sense at all, and Bill is busy dealing with Haley's slow-acting poison and his messy, lingering feelings for Danny. But in Fairmont Crest, you never really know. The writers love to throw curveballs that make absolutely no logical sense until they explain it away with some flashback. But whoever it is, this confession is going to completely shatter Eva. She is already struggling so much with her relationship with Isaiah, and now she has to deal with the fact that her entire life is a lie. I don't know how Eva comes back from this. I really don't. She is going to look at her mother and see a total stranger. A stranger who lied to her face for her entire life. And Leslie. What is Leslie's endgame here? Did she really think she could take this secret to the grave? It always comes out. In this town, it always comes out. I just hope the writers give us a really good, solid explanation for why she kept it a secret for decades. It better not be some flimsy excuse like, I wanted to protect you from the truth. That is the oldest, most tired excuse in the soap opera playbook. I want real, raw, messy motivations. I want Leslie to admit that she was selfish, that she was scared of losing Eva, that she was protecting her own reputation. I want her to own her massive mistakes. But knowing Leslie, she is going to play the victim. She is going to cry and wail and say she did her best as a single mother, and Eva is going to have to be the strong one again. It is exhausting just thinking about it. Honestly, I need a nap just processing Leslie's drama. All right, I need to take a breath. Let's pivot away from the Thomas family drama for a second because there is another massive storyline brewing that we need to talk about, and it is breaking my heart. And it involves one of my favorite couples on the show, Martin and Smitty. Honestly, whenever the rest of the town is going crazy with poisonings and stalkers and secret fathers, I usually look to Martin and Smitty to be the stable, grounded couple. They are the rocks of the Richardson-Smith household. They are the blueprint for a healthy relationship. But apparently, even rocks can crack under pressure. The latest spoilers reveal that Smitty is going to do something that deeply disappoints Martin. And you guys, this hurts my heart so much. I hate seeing them at odds. So, let's break down what is actually happening in their house right now to figure out what went wrong. We know that Tyrell Richardson is currently going through an absolutely devastating breakup. Jessica Harris broke his heart, and Tyrell is just a complete mess. He is grieving, he is sad, he is isolating himself, he is doing the whole teenage heartbreak thing where the world is ending. And on top of that, Samantha Richardson went completely nuclear on Jessica to defend her brother. So the house is already a chaotic war zone of high emotions and teenage angst. Martin, being the compassionate, deeply supportive father figure that he is, wants to circle the wagons. He wants to focus entirely on Tyrell. He wants to be there for his son, to guide him through this heartbreak, to make sure he knows he is loved and supported. That is just who Martin is. He puts family first. Always. Without question. But Smitty has been a little distracted lately, hasn't he? We know that Smitty is currently looking at a massive new job opportunity. He is ambitious, he wants to advance his career, and he is trying to balance being a present father with being a successful professional. And I get it. I really do. It is incredibly hard to juggle everything when you have big dreams. But it sounds like Smitty drops the ball in a major way. The spoilers don't say exactly what he does, but if I had to guess, based on how these stories usually go, I would say Smitty prioritizes this new job opportunity over Tyrell's immediate crisis. Maybe he misses a crucial family dinner because of a late night meeting. Maybe he dismisses Tyrell's feelings as just teenage drama because his head is so wrapped up in a contract or a negotiation. Maybe he literally walks out the door to go to an interview while Tyrell is crying on the couch. Whatever it is going to rub Martin completely the wrong way. It is going to shatter Martin's expectation of what their co-parenting should look like. Martin is not the kind of guy who gets mad easily. He is patient, he is understanding. But when he is disappointed, ouch. That quiet, simmering disappointment is almost worse than someone screaming in your face. I can just picture the scene perfectly in my head. Martin standing in the kitchen, arms crossed, looking at Smitty with that look. You know the look. The, I thought you were better than this look. The, I thought we were a team look. And Smitty is probably going to get defensive. He is going to say that he is doing this for their future, for the family's financial security, for their legacy. He is going to justify his actions with logic. But Martin isn't going to want to hear logic. Because to Martin, the future doesn't matter at all if your son is falling apart right in front of you in the present moment. I really hope these two can work it out. They have been through way too much to let a career opportunity drive a permanent wedge between them. But it just goes to show that no couple is perfect in Fairmont Crest. Everyone has their breaking point. Everyone has their flaws. Smitty is a great guy, but he can be a bit short-sighted and selfish when he gets a goal in his head. And Martin can be a bit rigid and unforgiving when it comes to his high expectations of how a family should operate. It is a perfect recipe for conflict, and the writers are stirring the pot vigorously right now. So where does this leave us? We have Leslie dropping the mother of all paternity bombs on a recovering, traumatized Eva. We have Eva realizing her mother is a pathological liar who is obsessed with a man she calls Teddy Bear. We have Martin and Smitty hitting a major heartbreaking roadblock in their relationship because Smitty can't get his priorities straight while Tyrell is crying over Jessica. It is just a mess. A beautiful, chaotic, stressful, utterly exhausting mess. And honestly, I am here for it. This is why we watch, right? We complain on Twitter, we vent on blogs, we pull our hair out, but we keep tuning in every single day because we care deeply about these characters. I care about Eva. I want her to find peace and health. I care about Martin and Smitty. I want them to hug it out and be the power couple I know they are. I even care about Leslie. In a twisted, frustrated kind of way. I want her to get therapy. Seriously, Leslie, call a therapist. Not Ted. A real, licensed professional who can help you unpack your decades of lies. Okay, I have been rambling for way too long. My fingers actually hurt from typing this fast, and I am pretty sure I have a deadline approaching that I am severely ignoring right now. But I had to get all of this off my chest. You guys know how it is. Sometimes you just have to vent about the people in Fairmont Crest before you lose your mind. I am going to go refill my coffee, maybe take a walk around the block, and try to prepare myself mentally for next week's episodes. Because if these spoilers are any indication, we are in for a very bumpy, highly emotional ride. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Who do you think Eva's real father is? Am I completely crazy for thinking it's Ted? And do you think Smitty can win back Martin's trust after this? Sound off below, and I will see you all in the next update.